I was wrong about almost everything for this episode because I had been thinking that this twist, of having two tribes go to tribal would be kind of like a twist that was used on one international version of Survivor, where no one actually gets voted out. It ends up being a new mixing up kind of thing, but no, it ends up being the two tribes end up voting together to vote one person out of the entire group of them, which was real interesting, albeit part of it was ruined due to the fact that, one tribe had more members than the other, but just yeah, and like I had totally begun to think that the idol thing wouldn't work, but it ended up working, and then I thought that the person that ended up leaving was actually second in terms of likelihood to go, but ended up being first. Just oh gosh, I was wrong on everything, and I'd also been thinking Orange would be the winner here. What do I know, right? Yeah. Okay, so diving into this, the main things that stuck out to me mainly was the interactions on the blue tribe, because I don't really remember too much occurring on the green tribe until after the reward challenge, and then as for the orange tribe, not too much really happened there until after the immunity challenge. So really, that was the blue tribe in terms of interactions, and then we've got JT, trying to steal the pot in order to get rid of Sandra, which would make sense because she's definitely playing a more aggressive game play this time. They definitely filled him in on what happened during those first two tribals, at least some degree. You gotta tell people some stuff in this game, really, because of all the downtime that they have, and there's no way he can sway people against Malcolm. There's no real way he can do anything against Michaela. Jeff, he hasn't done anything to put himself in a worse position like with last time, so it doesn't really work on him. And, who am I forgetting? I still don't have these tribes, totally formulated in my mind because I don't know why. I'm just having a tougher time adapted to this. Maybe it's because I'm doing the binge watch approach late again. I don't know. But yeah, Sandra is his best option out of everyone there. Okay. Oh, Aubrey! Well, I don't know why Aubrey, yeah. Gotta be honest with you, although it was nice to see her get a confessional. Bing, bing. Because I had been kind of complaining about that. And it was nice to see him do it, and he does have a little bit more of a rational ability to do it, although I could tell he wasn't able to do that much before the challenge loss, because all those people were thinking, we're just going to win pretty much everything here on out, so why would we, think about going to tribal? Yeah. So as for that reward challenge, that was a nice challenge, and I totally predicted it would be, the alpha males gunning for each other. And how did I feel about that comeback that Brad did? Well, at first I was like, how can you make out that difference? But then I go, wait a minute. He's a football player, and he doesn't necessarily have to be a quarterback in order to have a good arm, so maybe he could, but he'd have to get lucky. Well, he did. He got 5 in a row, so that made up most of the difference right there, and it's not really that easy to do that because, it's like, hitting the phone when it's like this, okay? That's about how thick those pegs are, I think, so it's not that easy. It's a pretty narrow target, and I don't think those sandbags are too big either, so that definitely helps. And, Suri claiming that Troyzan dropped the ball? No, he didn't, because anyone else that had gone on the posts like that, Troyzan would have beat. Okay? He couldn't beat Brad. It was that simple. He did not drop the ball in the slightest. Okay? It's not an easy thing to do. I really do not think it is. Sheesh. I can't tell you how many times I crumble up the piece of paper and try to throw it in the trash can and I miss. Okay? Sheesh. Right. Then as for the immunity challenge, I do like these, blind leading the blind, but as Dalton Ross pointed out, there was a very big lack of people getting hurt in this challenge. Come on. Let's have some people get hurt. I missed that, yeah. So, I had begun to think that, Blue would be the most likely, tribe to win and that, Orange would lose, even though that's not what I said when the episode started. But once you actually see the challenge, you can, get all kinds of feels. Because I've predicted tribes or people to win specific challenges after just like 5 seconds, okay? I'm not always right, but it's happened a good amount of times, right? So, that was actually a pretty nice, battle for all the table, and I do like how everybody had to switch, in terms of who got a ball, and because that definitely evened out the playing field, and that was a real intense battle. But then Green is just able to get the ball in after Varno, screwed up in the last bit. Though, and I did feel sorry for that tribe, but he shouldn't kick himself. I don't think it's that easy to get through a table maze like that, really, and it didn't seem like that maze, is something that you can just work your way towards the center. You actually have to go around for quite a lot of it, aka traverse most of it, so it's not easy. You could screw up at any point. Although, to be fair, he doesn't really have that great of a track record when it comes to, avoiding tribal, because, as he pointed out, his immunity win last episode was the first time he's won immunity since episode 4 of the Australian Outback. Yeah, so he ended up losing... 7 or 8 immunities in a row, depending on how you look at it, and then going for pretty much 8 or 9 cycles of, a tribal council losing a tribe member, depending on your point of view. At least I think I'm doing the math right. So, yeah. You gotta feel sorry for him a little bit, yeah. So then we get all these very interesting discussions of, what should the tribes do? Can we use the swing votes? Can we do the idol bits? And then Ty decides, I'm going to go look for the idol. And I'm like, why would you go look for the idol? Because aren't they doing it at the challenges? Or you find the clue that way? Well, Jeff stated in his Q&A for last week that there aren't too much hard set rules when it comes to the idols, so there's a possibility they just shift it around a little bit, although making, idol precedence a little loose. So, I don't know. We're going to have to see what happens with idols from here on out. But I don't necessarily think that this was them planting an idol that they're not supposed to, because, there's 3 tribes, 1 idol for each tribe. Ty found the idol for his tribe, so nothing ultimately unusual about that if you condense it down to the bare elements. Right. So then that tribal, that was real intense, but I had begun to think that it ultimately would come down to JT, because Haley, even though she could flip, I didn't really see that much incentive for her, whereas for JT, I got a little bit more of, if he could pull it off correctly, getting put with the person that he wanted to, he actually probably would be in a nice spot, But as I saw everyone going back and forth, my thinking was that Orange was going to play the idol the wrong way, and that probably Brad or Sierra would go, which I didn't really want to see happen, because I gotta be honest with you, I wanted Sandra or Haley to be going Haley because she doesn't add much to the season, and then Sandra because I thought it would be a nice blind side. So as I see everything, and then Sandra's like, they don't got no idol over there. You do realize that's a double negative, meaning that there is an idol there, and there was. Yeah, that's almost as bad as that guy in Hell's Kitchen. I ain't no bitch. Right. Anyway, so Ty ends up deciding to go to Sierra after both JT off camera and then Brad on camera, point him towards her. But I had been thinking, Sierra doesn't have the votes. There's no way Sierra's name comes up, and I'm like, aha! They figured it out! So then it ends up being 6 votes for Sierra, meaning JT voted with his tribe, so I'm like, okay, I guess Sandra's going because, that's what JT was kind of egging them to do. I mean, like, sure, they did argue getting rid of Malcolm, but I don't know, people have dealt with Malcolm before, and a bunch of people want to work with him at least a little bit, so then would Malcolm, and I'm like, oh. Well, that, sucks. Yeah. Yeah, because, he was just actually starting to start playing a real game at that point, and then he ends up getting voted out. Yeah. We've lost a hole in this season now because Sierra, she was booted too early to actually matter at all. And then Tony, well, I had actually been predicting that would happen to him this whole time, so that really wasn't a hole at all. It was just a disappointment to be right about it. But this, yeah. We've lost a hole now, and then JT, just when he thought, he had it in his grasp, his closest ally gets taken out, and honestly now, this guy's doomed because everyone will know that he was able to lead the Orange Tribe to figure out who they were voting for, save them, and then suffer a loss on their tribe. Yeah. If the Blue Tribe loses, which which is actually much easier to do now that Malcolm's gone. Yeah, see ya, JT. Yeah. Can he get himself out of this one? I don't think so. Well, that was definitely an interesting episode. It outdid the previous one, so well else could this season go? Yeah, so I'm hooked to this season now, guys. Don't worry about me. Worry about, whoever you're rooting for.